This is the real way to lead with your hips in the downswing, and that is having your hips start your downswing before you've completed your backswing. And 2, keeping the lead side of your hips left side down as you're turning. If you don't do this, there's no way you're going to lead your downswing with your hips. Now, let's explain why and how to do this also with some good drills. So the why. Starting that downswing with your hips before you even complete your backswing. This is something we see all the top players in the world do, and right here, Jon Rahm showing it right now. Hasn't even completed his backswing, but that lower body is turning and opening. So this is why top players can have such great sequencing all the time. It's because it's foolproof for them. They are moving their lower body in a way where there's no way they can start the downswing with anything else, whether it be arms or upper body, because they're starting it in the backswing. So this is huge. You have to do this if you want a foolproof way. So really feeling around left arm parallel in the backswing is when we like to see players start to unwind with their hips. So we're not doing it to start the downswing. So in transition, we're doing it before that transitional move of the upper body, the traditional look of a start of the downswing actually starts. So from left arm parallel, that's when we want those hips to really unwind. And that's a foolproof way, like I said, to go do it like all the top players do. Now, second, keeping the lead side, so the left side here of the pelvis down as you're starting with your hips, as you're leading with your hips. This is so important, but so many golfers completely don't know about it or miss it out. So keeping that lead side or left side down enables you to continue to turn. Leading with your hips won't be any use if you're starting with those hips, the left side raises up and now your hips can't turn anymore, everything else takes over. You have that lead side stay down, continues the rotation going down on the round. That's how we can keep the hip rotation going throughout the downswing. But this clears up what a lot of people think about starting and leading your swing with your hips. A lot of people go, well, I'm going to spin out with my hips if I do this. You're only going to spin out with your hips if your left side goes up. I've never seen a player who moves their hips properly and ever spin out. A lot of players will think they have, but then what would they do? They lift up that left side of the pelvis as they start to rotate. And when you lift up that left side of the pelvis, your upper body starts to move back and that gets the club stuck behind you. Makes players think they're spinning out, they're just not moving their hips properly. If we keep that left side down as we turn, the hand path will have more of a down and out move rather than a dead straight down. So it's impossible then to get the club stuck behind you and spin out. This is again what we see the top players in the world do. Why they start their downswing with their hips before they even complete their backswing, and they don't get stuck behind them, because they keep that left side down as they turn. So start that downswing with the hips, lead with it before you've even completed that backswing, midway, and keep that left side down. It's going to be so much easier than to lead with your hips. Now here's the how we're going to go do it, and we're going to learn it via a drill. That's going to give us visual feedback. If we're not doing a drill, we're not going to improve. This isn't something you can just consciously think into your swing. You need to drill it. So grab an alignment stick, put it through your belt loops, but just make sure a tiny bit comes out on the right hand side, a lot comes out the left. Obviously flip it over for a left-handed golfer. Now, why this is so good, because we can now see what our hips are doing. So we can make sure from here when we get to mid backswing that we start to transition and turn those hips into the downswing. And we could also see where the orientation of our hips are. We can see when this stick is pointing more down that the left side, the lead side, is more down, keeping that hip tilt that we need to be able to do this properly. So if we start to, let's say, turn the hips too late and they go up, we can see it straight away. We want them turning down and around before we even complete that backswing. Mid backswing, left arm parallel. Let me do one here. So you can clearly see there, really those hips transition and turning down. You've got that visual guide. You can do it exactly when we need to at mid backswing and keep that stick pointing down as you go around. That's how you're going to lead with the hips. So guys, like we said, this is the real way and the only way to really do this properly in the golf swing. That is a foolproof way as well. You've got to go do it. You've got to get that belt through the belt loops and have that nice leading movement, just like we talked about there. Super powerful, super consistent. It's just something you need to do with your golf swing. So rep out this drill and you're going to lead with the hips properly, and it's not going to take that long either. So if you like this video, of course, click that like button. If you want more golf instruction just like this, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video.